Anime 地球
Hello, welcome to watch our second video. In this episode, we are going to share some information about Azur Lane's performance around the global market. Meanwhile, briefly analyze the 4 reasons we see as the key behind its success. From our last video, we noticed that Azur Lane has made nearly $4 million in the US market within 4 months in 2018. Moreover, its overall revenue performance ranked the 23rd place competes with other anime-styled mobile games. Besides, long before the good performance in US region, Azur Lane has achieved impressive results in China, Japan and Korea respectively. As an anime-styled mobile game that is developed by Chinese developing team. How did Azur Lane earn fandom and money from the rest of the world? After some researches, we summarized 4 possible reasons for that. However, it's our personal view though, just for your reference. It's not a rip-off but a good substitute of Kanko on mobile devices. When it comes to Azur Lane, we have to talk about Kantai Collection, also called Kanko. Before Azur Lane, Kanko was the absolute chief of all shipfu games. Other games with similar or same theme were considered as rip-off in a long time. However, in the years when Kanko ruled Japanese shipfu collection games, Japanese players were actually having different levels of exhaustion. At this moment, Azur Lane showed up in this market, and immediately drew tons of attentions. Frankly speaking, Azur Lane marched into Japanese market at the right time. Before that, the market just has no qualified competitors on mobile devices. The original Kanko game was a 4-year-old browser game. It does run for a relatively long time in Japan. The following Kanko-like games, for quality or other reasons, they just failed to become the right successors. However, Azur Lane, as a mobile game, owns some great natural advantages. For instance, gamers can enjoy Azur Lane whenever and wherever they want. And that's something the website-based games like the classic DMM games couldn't achieve. Although Kanko franchise has its evolved arcade and PSP games, even with the help of Sega, those platforms just can't compete with mobile apps in both installs and frequency of updates. Active fandom. Thanks to the high-quality character art design as a foreign game, Azur Lane inspired many artists on Pixiv to create fan arts for it. Just look at the submits then. And of course, doujin is right up following. At the biggest manga and doujin party comic market in Japan, the amount of Azur Lane doujin immediately ranked the 5th in the male-serving genre. Right after its launch before the 93rd comic market, whereafter, Azur Lane even succeeded in having its own category in the 95th CM, as we know. Only the most popular series can have their own categories. This absolutely shows how popular Azur Lane is in Japan. In addition, the active fandom also presented as tons of qualified cosplays, MMD and other fanworks. This phenomenon made Azur Lane the hot topic in Japan, which is the birthplace of the modern concept of anime and this art style. We know that once an anime-styled game becomes popular in Japan, it more or less draws attention from anime fans around the globe. And that also means when the time global version is launched, audiences can enjoy as many as fandom feeds. And it will surely does some positive effects on the global fandom as well. A good game with relatively friendly drop rate. Azur Lane is not just an imitator of Kanko. In addition to its qualified character arts, the developers also pay their efforts in the game design. Different visual features of camps, vivid and satisfying live 2D, accessible upgraded skins, abundant dorm stuffs, and these all have make players willing to keep the game on their phones. As for gameplay, the game provides a side-roll shoot-them-up experience which is definitely more playable than classic all-auto instances. To present this quality in data, we compared the open rate of Azur Lane and the other anime-styled games in US and Japanese market. Open rate means the percentage of the install base that opened the app during the period. As we can tell, its open rate is impressive, which means in the past year, players who downloaded the Azur Lane were more willing to open this app more than other anime games. Additionally, the drop rate of shipfis is relatively higher than other typical anime games. We collected the drop rate data of the following games. The 7% drop rate of SSR 5-star shipfu is rather satisfying. In communities of Azur Lane, you can always find players that claim they got their shipfis without spending a penny. This friendly drop rate makes ordinary players, free players, feel more satisfied in-game and are willing to stay in. As long as they stay, they have chance to pay, and will continuously spread the impression of this game to others. What a smart way to create word of mouth. Team resources behind it? After some info digging, we found that Azur Lane actually owns tough developing and publishing teams. Firstly, let's learn more about the developers. Azur Lane is co-developed by two different companies, Shanghai Manju and Xiamen Yangshi. Manju is not a famous company in China. However, it has Bilibili as one of the largest shareholders. Bilibili is the biggest anime, web culture video site, similar to Nico Nico in Japan or Crunchyroll in the USA. It is also the publisher of Azur Lane in China mainland. With its definite power and experience towards anime-centered culture audiences, we can imagine the resources it can provide to Azur Lane in both developing and publishing. Secondly, after Azur Lane's fast-growing in China mainland, the Japanese version is launched then. The publisher of the game in Japan is Yoastar. Its CEO Lee Hengda was actually the former CEO of MiHoYo in Japan, and MiHoYo is the publisher and developer of another successful anime-styled mobile game, Honkai 3rd. Let's see how Yoastar promoted Azur Lane in Japanese market. Tons of billboard ads, qualified Twitter ads, bus ads, collab products, etc. The massive efforts in localized promotion are something that the other foreign publishers couldn't imagine, at least before Azur Lane. This shows their ambition of being an outstanding publisher targeting overseas markets. Meanwhile, Yoastar's registered company in mainland China is called Shanghai Yuxing Network Technology. The co-founder of Yuxing is also the former shareholder of another famous waifu collecting mobile game, Girls Frontline. After Azur Lane launched in the Japanese market, it went on the journey to Korean market. And its publisher in this region, XD Network, has already shook this market with the localized version of Girls Frontline. Girls Frontline had reached on the top 3 list of mobile games in Korea after launched, which was so unexpected in the eyes of local companies and players in Korea. And then in the late August 2018, Azur Lane launched its global version, which is published by, of course, Yoastar. With the experiences the publishers learned from the other markets, qualified promotion resources, and a fandom that already exists due to its success in other regions, the global version gained its popularity in a very short time. After all these info diggings, we can infer that the performance as an anime-styled mobile game of Azur Lane in the overseas markets has both internal and external causes. To explain it in an old saying, right time, right place, right people equals success. It may not be the most anime-style mobile game of revenue and download, but it has become a milestone that cannot be ignored in this genre. Alright, the above is our personal opinion on the performance of Azur Lane in the international market. If you have any opinion on Azur Lane, please feel free to leave a comment. We are Panime HQ, a YouTube channel that focuses on the market and cultural research of anime and anime-style mobile games. If you like our video and want to know more, please subscribe. Thanks.